Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, uh, today's Monday, the 25th. Um, Saturday, the 23rd, was the first day of fall. So we are technically in fall or autumn, whatever. And I have a bunch of Stenocereus. Look at my breath. You can see it's a chilly morning. Even though today's supposed to be like in the 80s, tomorrow I think tomorrow's gonna be like 86 degrees. Um, and I still have some Stenocereus flowers that are due to open soon. But right now, since my concern is I'm not gonna have two flowers open at the same time, two different species. So what I do a lot is freeze pollen. Sometimes I just use plain Ziploc bags, but this time I'm going to use the specimen container. I put Stenocereus thurberii on there and today's date. And I came out last night, and I think it was so cold that the pollen sacs didn't pop, so there was no pollen. But it looked like there was pollen, but no, the pollen sacs just hadn't popped. And I know there was going to be all this dew in the morning, and you could see all the dew. And if I tried to collect pollen in the morning, if I wouldn't have put this cup here, it would have been wet, and wet pollen is no good. So I put this little cup here. So now when I remove this cup, if I could get pollen from here, if there's some loose pollen, it's going to be completely viable. And I'm going to try to put it right into this cup right here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, wow. It's still pretty cold, and I'm not seeing the amount of pollen that I would usually see from a flower in the morning. I should be seeing pollen flying around when I'm doing this, and I'm not. But I am collecting some pollen. You can see those big circles are the anthers. Those are not the ends of the anthers where the pollen, those are like the pollen sacs. But you can see there is pollen, but it's just not abundant like it should be at this time in the morning. But I'll take what I can get. Yeah, I'll take what I can get. Okay, I'm going to try to loosen any pollen on here. Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. I really didn't get much pollen. I got very little. You could see the dust, the pollen on the side. So I mean, there is some pollen, but it's just not abundant. So I'm gonna show you guys. So when I want to pollinate other things, I'll freeze them. I'll freeze the pollen. And what I do is, usually I have used Ziploc containers, but I know a lot of people use these specimen containers. I was hoping they were smaller, but yeah, I got these. I ordered a few of these. I think these are 3-ounce. So I'm going to, I labeled it. I'm going to put a silica pack in here. And what silica does, or desiccant, what that does is it absorbs all the moisture. Moisture is not the friend of pollen. It'll make it not viable. I wanted to see if I had another flower over here, but I don't think so. No, I don't. Okay. So this is the only Stenocereus pollen I have. I have some flowers blooming here on this hairy Pachycladus. one of my favorites. But nothing else for Stenocereus. And I have a lot of Stenocereus stellatus, 2 different quasticorums, and actually probably 3 different quasticorums. A third quasticorum is trying to push out more buds, but it's just too late in the season. The weather has been really whack, so the cacti are all confused. And look at these frosty tips. It's frosty. These are Pachycereus stepamos. Anyways, so yeah, so what I do the same thing for dragon fruit pollen. If you don't have these specimen containers, you could just use 2 Ziploc bags. There's some people who wrap pollen in aluminum and they fold it with a silica pack inside, and they put that inside a Ziploc bag and with another silica pack. But I'm using the specimen container. So you could buy silica packs, or you could just search your new electronics, and you'll see these little silica gel packs, or some people call it, or it says desiccate. This absorbs moisture. So what I do is I'll put that wherever I put my pollen, either if it's a Ziploc bag or a specimen container. I'll seal it shut, airtight, and then I'll put either a Ziploc bag or either another Ziploc bag or whatever container I use. I'll put that in the Ziploc bag with another silica pack in there, and I try to remove all the air, because air oxidizes. Anyways, so here I have my what I'm going to freeze the pollen. There's very little pollen, but you only need a little, and I'm going to store it in my freezer. I have other containers here. What is this? This is quasticorum. This is dragon fruit. Yeah, so I'm gonna chuck it here with my other frozen pollen I have. And you can see if I don't, there's times I'll use 1 bag, but often I'll use 2 bags. Yeah. Anyways, guys, so if you don't have, most cacti are self-sterile. So if you have different cacti that flower, especially different Stenocereus, freeze some pollen, freeze it, and you'll see and try it. It's not 100% guaranteed that you're gonna set fruit, but that's gonna be your best chance. The best thing you could do is find a friend who has there's some little kitties. The best thing you could do is find a friend who has some another Stenocereus, and hopefully, like, if you know someone who has like a big stand, I mean, you could go over and get some pollen and use fresh pollen, which fresh pollen is always the best. But oh man, the rooster's going crazy. Which is why I recommend growing. If you're gonna get into the Stenocereus game and you want to get fruit, I recommend you grow many of them. Here's one of that quasticorums that has 1 flower bud. No, yeah, that should be opening soon. And I have what I have over here. This is stellatus, but looks like all these flowers. Oh, there's like 2 buds that haven't opened, but the rest of them flowered already, which I think they were pollinated. We'll see. I have more. this Stenocereus has a lot of buds. Yeah, I have a bunch of Stenocereus blooming really late. But anyways, guys, that was just, I just wanted to make a quick video on freezing pollen. And try it, guys. It especially works for and much easier to do with dragon fruit, because you have an abundance of pollen there. The giant dragon fruit flowers give you so much pollen. So yeah, go ahead and try it with Stenocereus. Any pollen you freeze will work. You just got to make sure you store it properly, keep it dry. Ideally, I would collect it at night. I would leave it on my kitchen counter, and just make sure it's really, just to make sure it's really dry. And then in the nighttime, I would and then in the morning, I would put it in the containers and freeze it. Man, the rooster's going crazy. I'm getting a lot of pups on these Stenocereus here, these mid cuts. Anyways, guys, cheers.